I have taught you previously that communication is magic, and magic is communication. To be in communication with a being is to be in relationship. Communication and relationship are not primarily a set of actions or of words, and often not that at all. Communication and relationship is the sharing of energy, so that there is a unit of being between two or more beings. Any action there may be is for the purpose of inducing the connection of energy. And sometimes we call this depth of sharing, becoming one. Of course, in our daily lives and our walk on the earth, there is much communication and sharing that passes rather quickly and doesn't go that deep, and that's fine. That's called being friendly. We don't become one with each individual we encounter. We couldn't. Although it may be said that we could become one with all life, and then our encounters are simply the current face of that life. As a magician intending to dedicate to an art, and realizing that if one hopes to possess the magic held within that art, as I taught in the previous video, it then becomes necessary for the candidate magician to receive the magic from the master of that art, which is the being or beings at the foundation of that art. Thus, the first act of a candidate is to present themselves to the master in a manner requesting to be received and beginning with formal greeting. In other words, the candidate submits to the master. That submission remains for the duration of the dedication, although the nature of that submission will morph depending on the stage of practice the magician is in. Submission may sound undesirable to the independent sensibilities of the modern human. This is why in video 30, when I foreshadowed, I said that this powerful key might be a barrier on the magician's path, because some may resist the state of submission. The speaker must first hear. Those who make requests must first fulfill requests. Anything you want submitted to you, you must first submit to. As a magician, you will bid and your bidding will be followed. But first, you must follow bidding. You will come to mastery. But first, you must come to the master. This order of personal and magical growth of knowledge is not about making a fair exchange, nor is it about gaining seniority in a hierarchy. Absolutely nothing about either of those. The master will pour its being and language and knowledge and energy and magic into a trustworthy, submitted student. Submission means that one is an open cup that may be poured into. The submitted student is empty and knows nothing and realizes they know nothing yet. They come as a babe. Even more, the novice magician is being admitted into a tribe or family, or rather will prove themselves a member of the family over time. The magician's eventual efficacy of influence will be familial influence. And to be even more clear, if one wishes to wield, for example, the magic of water, one must be water. If one wishes to wield the magic of soil, one must be soil. If one wishes to wield the magic of geese, one must be a goose. If one wishes to wield the magic of love, one must be love. Obviously, one will still be human, but will have complete understanding and command and connection to the energy of the being and the art. If one is to come to this level of oneness, it must be because of the full transmission of energy from a master. And transmission cannot take place through a closed door, but into an open cup. Submission. This pouring and this transmission also constitutes the master submitting to the student. So who has more to trust? The candidate choosing a tried master, or a master choosing an untried candidate? Both the master and the apprentice will give of themselves to the other. Submission is not a forfeiture of your will, nor of your determination of yourself. It is not toxic codependency, nor martyrdom. Please note that in previous videos I urged you to be relatively healed before dedicating, and this is one instance of a good reason why, being able to submit in a wholesome and not dysfunctional manner. Submission is your recognition that you know nothing of another's will and their self, and you are willing to dedicate yourself, because of love, to coming to that knowledge by innumerable acts of hearing and freely given service. It is immersive studency. Faking submission isn't possible, because the only person you're fooling is yourself. It's not that one needs to submit to get favor to get the magic. It's that submission is the actual mechanism of receiving the magic. The master doesn't need the student, although certainly there can be longings for such. The student needs the master, and will receive the magic by being completely open with no barriers to learning or receiving energy. If you are faking or resisting submission, in the place where you've put the barrier or the deception is the place where you've failed to receive what it is you yourself want. The level of trust and the level of the need for trustworthiness on the part of both the master and the apprentice is massive. Let me make a note about current usages and understanding of mastery and submission. We say master and slave, but let me suggest to you that anyone holding a slave is no master. They are a slave monger. Masters are completely invested in the freedom of all. These two dynamics are constructed very differently, both energetically and how they play out in real time. The correct understanding is master and apprentice. The master and apprentice are in a relationship. That mutual dedication is the fuel for the student also becoming a master in time. Also, another note to what I've been saying here, while I am referring to beings as masters, I am not suggesting humanizing them. They are what they are and are to be known on their own terms and in their own language and energy. In the last video, I promised I would tie this into requesting and precision appearance, but I haven't fully been able to yet. What I have said so far is enough to think about, but I will return to this theme several times in the future. I will elaborate more clearly at the proper point of unfolding. Approach the whole world giving honor to the master. Master Butterfly, you greet. Master Smartphone. Master Rock, how are you today? For they are masters. They have the secrets of the magic it takes to be themselves. Even you don't know that. Key. The first act of a candidate is to present and submit themselves to the master of the art, beginning with formal and reverent greeting. Key. Anything one desires to have submitted to them, one must first submit to. Submission is the mechanism by which the magic of the master will be transmitted to the apprentice. Key. Beings in the web of life are predisposed to consent to participate in magic conditions and to serve desire. Key. Much of the dedication of the magician is to come into the condition of trustworthiness, because trustworthiness is a large portion of the magician's side of any magical conversation.